My name is Kayla Pleasance, and I'm a third grade teacher. And the story that I chose to read, or the excerpt that I chose to read, is from The Starving Time, Elizabeth's Jamestown Colony Diary, written by Patricia Hermes. And this text is at a interest level, second through fifth grade, as rated by Scholastic. It's a guided reading level O, which is right on third grade level, perfect for what I'm looking to teach. And I'm going to be reading this text through the point of view of a historian. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I'm reading a short excerpt from this text. It's written in diary form, and by reading a short excerpt, I'm going to apply it to a social studies lesson that I'm going to teach relating to change over time with a focus on Native Americans and settling in colonial America. So I'm choosing to read pages 5 and 6 in this text. It's not written in chapter form, it is written in diary form, so you get to see, and I'll show you a page, you get to see the dates and short diary excerpts from this young girl, Elizabeth. My goal is for my students to be able to empathize with a young child their age, and to see what it was like to move from England to America to settle and to become a colonist in America. October 22nd, 1609. I promised to tell you how we came to be here. We sailed from England in 9 ships last June. We came with hopes for land, some came for riches. Gosh, I've got to stop right there. 9 ships, that's a lot of ships. I wonder how many people were on those ships, and I know that ships in the 1600s were much different from ships today. I bet living conditions for those ships were pretty difficult. I know that it took 2 to 5 months depending on travel, depending on wind, if those ships got lost. I know it took that amount of time for ships to arrive from England to America, so I can just imagine the conditions on those ships. It was a terrible crossing, and some of our ships were lost in a hurricane. But our ship, the Blessing, came safely to land here in August. So they left in June. They arrived in August, so it took 2 months' time. I came with Mama and Papa, but Caleb, my brother, my twin, stayed behind in England because his lungs are weak. He shall come on the next supply ship in the spring. Like I said, I noticed their ship landed in August, and the diary entry is from October. So another thing that I know about settlers is that they lived in ships until their establishments and their settlements were built. So I'm wondering if I'll learn more about their settlements, and I wonder if they actually lived in their ships or if they had a settlement already built. So I'm going to keep reading to find out. It says, we were surprised by what we found here. We must live inside a fort. There are tall wooden walls that surround us. As I continue reading, I see that they are surprised by what they found. Elizabeth must be coming to a colony already developed. My thinking about her staying on the ship and living on the ship has now changed. I know that colonists came to America and then sent ships to meet colonies that were already formed. And so my guess is that Elizabeth is part of a second batch or third batch of colonists that came to America. As I read about the surroundings, the fort, the tall wooden walls, the gates, I'm thinking about why they would have lived in that fort, why they would have had gates. And one thing I know about the colonies and the colonists is that there were Native Americans surrounding a lot of the colonies. Native Americans were in America first. I wonder if we're going to learn more about the Native Americans in this particular diary entry. And one thing I know is that the Native Americans and the settlers didn't always get along. So I wonder if we'll hear more about that relationship in this text. It says, there are gates that led to the outside when we wish to go, and there are Indians outside. They are friendly some of the time. I have an especially good Indian friend named Pocahontas. So I'm starting to hear more about that relationship with the Indians. I'm interested to learn more about not just the Native Americans that she's friends with, but also the Native Americans as a whole. They're friendly some of the time. I have a especially good friend named Pocahontas. She's a girl a bit older than me, maybe 12 or 11. I am just 9. But sometimes our men are cruel to the Indians, and sometimes the Indians do attack. So it is frightening here. Also, there is much sickness and hunger. but there is hope. There is happiness too. I noticed that there's a bit of scared feeling. Our men are cruel. Sometimes Indians attack. So I see that relationship, that there's a bit of difficulty there, but I see that there's hope. I wonder if throughout this text, and I'm excited to learn more about this, throughout this text, how that relationship will grow and what will happen in her colony as Elizabeth settles into Jamestown.